Hello Potato, and welcome to Just Add Water Wednesday, where today we're having ramen not by Asha or Samyang or Nissin or even cup noodles. No, today we're having ramen by the, to my estimation, honest contender in the ramen market, General Mills. You know, the folks that make the cereal and also have unleashed upon us El Torito ramen. Well, they didn't just do El Torito ramen, they also have now Totinos ramen. Just like with the El Torito one, we have a kind of an interesting concept for a ramen flavor. This one themed after Totinos frozen pizzas. Now, when I think Totinos, I think pizza rolls, but I do have to remember that they do have frozen pizzas as well, and that's probably what we're going for here more than the pizza roll. Although, given the amount of doughy matter in the noodles, this might actually be more like a pizza roll. But yeah, when I get frozen pizzas, like when I want cheap frozen pizzas rather, I go from that other brand, the one that has, they call them party pizzas, which are for the smallest and saddest parties ever. Totinos, I'm all about the pizza roll. Now, when we did the El Torito ramen, the flavors, at least of the first one, wasn't bad. The second one had like bell peppers and stuff and just got like worse as I ate it. But the flavors weren't bad, but the weird thing is that the noodles, and you can kind of see it on the front here, these aren't like any ramen noodles I've encountered from any other manufacturer. Now, being a white American, having never been to any part of Asia, it's entirely possible that these egg noodle looking things are a proper type of ramen that I am just unfamiliar with, and somehow General Mills has a better grasp on what is appropriate and what isn't than I do. Entirely possible. It's also possible that Totinos thinks you won't know any different, which would be wrong. So these are easy to prepare, and thank goodness we wouldn't want complicated pizza flavored ramen. Nothing could be easier and still taste good. I feel like there's multiple ways to read that. Like, this is as simple as we can make it and have it not be disgusting. Remove the lid, add water to the fill line, stir, microwave on high for 230, let stand for 2 to 3 minutes. Caution, paper cup will be hot. Enjoy! Directions development on 1000 watt microwave ovens. So yeah, our microwave is 1000 watt, that's fine. There are 220 calories to this, so it's a lower calorie option, probably because even though it's lower calorie than most ramens, it still has 40% of your daily sodium. And if you made it full size, like a full portion of ramen, like you'd get from, well, any of the other manufacturers I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you have like 90% of your daily sodium, which is not unheard of. So let's open up and see what we have here, and then we'll go and cook it. We gotta remove the lid entirely, it says. And yeah, we have, again, these egg noodle looking things all over my table. All right, so we have these egg noodle looking ramen noodles. And then down at the bottom, we do have our, ooh, it's clumped. Ooh, that's appetizing. So I've learned from this, I'm not gonna try a spoon, and certainly not chopsticks. I learned the first time chopsticks, my chopstick skills are not sufficient to chopstick this kind of noodle. And honestly, spoon, I don't think worked that great either. So we're gonna go with the fork. All right, so here is let's try a little bit of our seasoning here. Get to stick to my finger. What flavors are we dealing with here? Remember, this is supposed to be cheese pizza. All right, yeah, I can get that. It tastes like cheese and tomato. It reminds me of these old crisps I called pizzerias. I think they were also actually by Keebler. I mentioned before Keebler's baked potato crisps. Tater skins, I think they're called. Tater skins from Keebler with baked potato appeal. They have like pizza ones too called pizzerias. And this makes me think of like the seasoning on those, but also the seasoning in the center of a pizza combos. That kind of tomatoey, cheesy flavor. If you've had either of those things, and the combos is probably more likely because they still make those, that's kind of the flavor I'm getting off of the seasoning. Will that make good ramen? I mean, I'm sure it will be better than some I've had. I've had some pretty bad ramen, so. Well, let's add the water. got it here. It's not hot because it does have to microwave, so I didn't bother using hot water. So I fill it to the fill line. And ooh, I estimated that just about perfectly. I didn't even measure the water. I just said, you know, what seems appropriate, and it came out absolutely perfect. It's like I have a sixth sense for how much water you need for low quality Americanized ramen. All right, so that is all stirred up. Does not look pretty. You probably can't see it at the angle you're at. This noodle like stuck to my fork. Does not look tasty. You can see like there's some herbs and stuff that have come out of that. Well, probably like just parsley, but it doesn't smell bad, even cold. I mean, it smells okay. It smells like tomato and cheese. It smells like, well, it does smell like a cheap pizza. So that is what they're going for with this, it seems. And I have to say, before heating it up, they have succeeded, but we do need to go and heat it up. So I will be right back with some piping hot Totinos cheese pizza ramen noodles, because that's where we are in this world. And we are back with our hot, wet Totinos cheese pizza flavored ramen noodles. So, scent-wise, I haven't tasted it obviously, but aroma-wise, I will say they have hit their target. It smells like kind of like the sauce in the Totinos pizza roll. It smells kind of like the sauce in Chef Boyardee. It does absolutely smell the part of like a cheap pizza or, you know, cheap Americanized Italian food. So they definitely win on aroma. It's no arguments from me there. We do still have our little green bits. I was wondering, because when I took out the microwave, all the little green bits that had been floating at the top were gone. But since this kind of sunk and stuck to the noodles, maybe as they became more hydrated. So yeah, the noodles have expanded out a bit. It's a very saucy ramen. There's a lot of broth here. I've kind of become a fan of the like less saucy ones, I guess just because I don't eat the broth usually, because that's, you know, that's what the sodium largely is. Which means I should like the ones that are really liquidy, because then I'm eating less of the broth and therefore less of the sodium, but I don't know. All right, let's try a little of this. I don't think it's going to taste bad. I don't think it's going to necessarily be good, but I don't think the flavors are going to be bad. It is a little watery. I wish it was a little thicker. I wish I'd put a little less water in there, but I did it to the line per the instructions. That's what I always try to do when I first make something like this. But yeah, I wish the sauce was just a little thicker. Had a little less flow to it, but and basically I want it to be more pizza saucy is ultimately what I think I'm saying here. But like cheap pizza sauce, where there's no chunks of anything in it, just tomato flavored goo paste. All right, let's give it a try. Most of what I'm tasting is the noodle itself. Let's just try some of the broth. The broth is actually it's not imparting a lot of flavor into the noodles. Let's just try some broth. I'm gonna say the broth is less cheesy than it was when it was powder. It's still there, but it's very second. It's a very not exactly tomatoey. I mean, it's tomatoey, but there's another like a sharpness, an acidic tartness in there, like enhancing the tomato flavor. The cheese almost just kind of comes in as an aftertaste. What cheese is in this? Is there cheese in this? Let's see. It's tomatoes, garlic, onion, a lot of the semolina wheat, yeast extract. I don't actually see any cheese in here. I mean, here, let's bring it closer so you can see it a little better. I'm not seeing cheese actually listed in the cheese pizza here. So that's interesting. But the sauce isn't awful. It could be a little stronger, it could be a little thicker. The noodles, however, and I don't remember if I said this about the Totinos one or not. I mean, they're clearly the same noodles. But I want to say the noodles are kind of letting this down, because they kind of have a strong flavor of their own. And the sauce being so thick, it doesn't, or not, rather not being thick enough, it doesn't stick to it. So when I eat the noodles, like the sauce is there for a second, but it's gone because it's not sticking noodles. And then I kind of have the taste of just the plain, like almost plain noodles. And I'm eating this with a spoon, which is not the way it shows. You're supposed to just eat it with a fork per the picture here. And indeed, if I was holding the cup and not like reaching around a camera to eat it, that is what, when I finish it, that's how I'll finish it. I'm going to just use the fork. I'm not going to use a spoon. The spoon is just so that I can get it to my mouth without making a huge mess. But that's giving it the advantage of having sauce like right on the noodle. I feel like if I do a bite here with no additional sauce in the bottom, just whatever sticks to the noodle, whatever didn't drip off when I forked it out, I think this is going to taste considerably worse. Not as bad as I was thinking it would be, but it is still very pasta flavored forward. I do think the longer it sits here, it is maybe soaking in some more of that flavor, so that is probably helping it to let it sit longer than the 2 to 3 minutes it says to. But I mean, it's not bad. I think I do like it better than the El Torito, especially better than I think it was the fajita El Torito, because I had like green bell pepper in it, and I just don't care for that flavor. So I like it better than that. I don't know if I like it better than the first, I think it was beef birria was the first one. I don't know if I like it better than that, but it's legitimately not bad. It's not an offensive flavor. It doesn't make me want to go dump this down the drain. I'm going to finish this as my lunch, but it's not a thing I would ever buy again. I think General Mills may have something in the realm of a possible idea with maybe packaged pastas, kind of like like Proper Good. Proper Good has done, I think, a decent job of making packaged instant-to-eat pasta. I mean, I've only tried like one, but it was not bad. It was, it could have been a little better, but it was perfectly edible. It's something I would totally buy again. As for this, I think there's something in having instant pasta to take to work that's not just ramen, not just Asian flavors. We tried that kosher instant spaghetti a while back, and that was surprisingly good. Unfortunately, not super long shelf stable, but that was surprisingly good. And I guess in my mind, I'm comparing it more to that. There is a possible way of doing instant just add water pasta. This isn't it. And they aren't trying. They're calling it ramen. It specifically is ramen. They're not trying to make cheese pizza pasta. They're trying to make cheese pizza ramen, which is probably largely for the benefit of people like me who are going to eat these things on camera and talk about them, not actually put them in their lunch. And, for that, it's fine. I will be surprised if, a year from now, these are still on the shelf. But this is legitimately not bad. I don't dislike this at all. I wish it was with like ramen noodles I could use chopsticks on. I wish the noodles didn't look quite so much like egg noodles. It does seem like as it's cooling down a bit, it does seem the sauce is kind of binding or infusing the noodles a little bit more than it had after the cook time and a couple minutes of rest. So that's a good thing. But this is not something you're going to be able to eat as your sole lunch. It's only 220 calories. This is a small meal. You're going to have it on the side with something, maybe probably something hopefully without sodium in it, because this is almost half your day sodium right in this little cup. Maybe a salad or something. Or maybe a soup, maybe something where you could dip the crust in the broth, which is again why I wish the broth was a little thicker. Because that's the thing, is it's not really thickening up. I think the flavor is getting into the noodles more, but the sauce is staying really liquid. Sometimes, you know, on these, the sauce will thicken up until, like, you know, the time it takes me to record the video, it's turned to gravy. And this is not one of those, which I don't know is to its benefit. I think I would like if the sauce would thicken up more, but it's not bad. It is a perfectly edible thing. Does it taste like a cheese pizza? Not really. I'm going to say it tastes, the sauce flavor is there. There's cheese flavor, and I don't see any cheese in the ingredients. Maybe you saw it. Let me know in the comments what cheese it was and like what line it was on. Although this cup will be in the trash well before this video gets posted. But I mean, it doesn't taste like a pizza, because even though the ramen noodle flavor is very strong, at least at the beginning, it's getting less so, or I'm just blocking it out. It's not pizza crust flavor. It's definitely better than the second El Torito. Not El Torito, Old El Paso. I've been saying El Torito this whole time. It's Old El Paso. Wrong chain. The second half, or the second of the Old El Paso ramens, but it's been too long since I had the beef birria one to rate it properly, because I seem to remember I enjoyed the flavor in that one as well. No, actually, I don't think I liked it as much as the beef birria one we did back in Soup March, though. That one I just didn't like the noodles in. Anyways, just rating this on its own, it's fine. It's edible. It's something kids might enjoy. For adults, I just don't think it's enough here to be a meal. You're going to have something with it, or you're just like really trying to keep your calories down. Look, you know, you're limiting yourself to 1,000 a day or something, which is probably not healthy if your doctor hasn't told you to do it. But it's a small cup of ramen with a large amount of sodium. It does make me think of like Chef Boyardee sauce, of like the sauce on a Totinos pizza roll. So I'm going to say it does succeed in that effort. It doesn't make me think of a cheese pizza, but it is reminiscent of the flavor of a Totinos pizza roll. Again, I don't really know what the pizzas taste like, because that's not the cheap pizza I go for when I go for cheap frozen pizza. So yeah, I mean, I guess in trying the taste of Totinos cheese pizza, they've probably succeeded. But again, this isn't the thing I would buy again. I don't see any circumstance in which, of all of the offerings in the Just Add Water aisle, why I would ever get this again. It's certainly cheap. It's cheaper than like a proper good meal, but it's it's fine, but it's not anything that I'm not in love with it, and I don't think I'd ever buy it again. But I will try. There's another Totinos ramen that I will try down the road, and we'll see if that one is any more wowful. But now I am putting off eating my lunch here. It's just going to get cold. I don't imagine that's actually, I mean, it may make the noodles more flavorful, but I don't think it's going to make it any better. So I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you found this all interesting or entertaining. If you did, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Have you tried Totinos cheese pizza ramen? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you in the next video.